What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Film Fanclub show. I'm Ricky Sosedo, your main host, and today we'll be bringing on Samuel Carrico. Pleasure to have you. He likes to review Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who.
Very honored to have him on the show. Today we're going to talk about a few topics.
Topics.
There's some
Hello,
film
Ricky.
news. Hey, how you doing? I'm Ricky Sosedo.
I am Samuel Carrico. I do not go by Samuel for some reason.
Sammy?
I went by Samuel actually up until 6th grade, and then I made a conscious decision. Like, okay, new school, new me. I'm going by
So
Sam
some
now.
movies that we're going to talk about. First, we...
What do we have first up on today's agenda?
First off, we have a little movie called Star Wars.
I love Star Wars.
So, in particular, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 8, and a little rumor that's been going around, I'm sure you've heard it. Hayden Christensen apparently might be on Episode 8, the context of which we don't know, so we're going to speculate. What do you think?
This is just a rumor, so just preface this with that. That's stupid. Why would you connect the sequels to the prequels? Everyone, I didn't bring up the Rotten Tomatoes scores, but I think we all know that the prequels were not really the most beloved films in the franchise.
I believe Episode 3 has a 75 or something around there.
Really?
Episode 3 can be redeemable.
Episode 3 is redeemable. If anyone's going to watch any of the prequels, I would tell them to watch Episode 3.
Right.
I just do not think the prequels need to be remembered.
Necessary one.
I think that Hayden Christensen, if you put him in there, it's a glaring reminder of what has come before us in a bad way. We don't want, the reason that, if you think about it, the reason that we have new Star Wars movies coming, if you think about it, is because we got subpar prequel movies. If George had made great prequel movies and if everybody loved those, he probably wouldn't sell Star Wars. He'd probably just be like, you know what? No, I'm done. I'm done with my. Let's just make 3 more kids shows, and then you can do that, and I'll get the checks from that and merchandise, and that's about it. But instead, the prequels were so bad that everyone hated on George Lucas that he became self-conscious, that he sold it to Lucas or sold it to Disney. And who was the face? Who was the poster child of the prequels? Hayden Christensen. So you know what's going to happen if you put Hayden Christensen in the sequel trilogy? People are going to be reminded of what they didn't like about the prequel trilogy. Now, you told me this a little bit earlier. What if they maybe flesh, like it's a flashback, and they flesh out his character in the prequels? That might help a little bit. It's still going to be, maybe if it makes us look at the prequels in a better light, in a different way, it might actually have a positive effect. But so far, I'm really, really cautious about this whole news. But it's probably a rumor. I don't know. How do you feel, Ricky? Tell me I'm crazy.
Well, you are. A lot of the problems I feel with Hayden Christensen's performance in the prequels was the direction that he was given, the writing he was given, because as Nostalgia Critic noted, when Hayden had no dialogue and was just given like little things to perform, he really did bring out raw emotion. There's several shots in Episode 3 where he shows you he can be terrifying as a villain, and you can see the conflict going on within him. Do you remember that shot where he was looking out the window at the same time Padme was looking out the window, and he was like super emotional?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great scene. There was no dialogue in it whatsoever.
The scene where he turns.
One of the best scenes in the whole prequel series.
The scene where he's got the hood and he turns and his eyes are changed now to Sith colors. That's a great.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I mean, if maybe with a different director, like who's directing, the director of Looper, Rian Johnson, I believe, is directing Episode 8. So maybe with a more skilled director. And I love George Lucas. He gave us 3 of the best movies that are ever made. He's just not the best director for actors. And it showed. And it just left a bad taste in my mouth. And that bad taste is coming back to the forefront because of this news. And it's just a rumor. Right.
So it's just a rumor. If it's done well, it's done well. But still, that's in the back of a lot of people's minds. Hayden Christensen, he is the poster child of the prequels, and they were hated. So that's the thing. That's the thing. But if Rian Johnson, if he can, bring Hayden back, really bring something new and interesting, fresh to the table, mix things up a little bit, give us more development on Anakin's character, then it could work, and we could all love Hayden once again. for Shattered Glass, not the prequels. Shattered Glass is a good movie.
He was in it, and he did well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And special thanks to schmoesno.com and collider.com for providing us with a lot of these articles that we're covering today. Also, you guys like our set? It's Halloween now. Yeah.
It's October.
It's October. This is just out of convenience. That's why it's like that. And yeah, anyways, now we got that little plug and out of the way. What is next on the agenda?
Up next, we have Prometheus 2. The title has been revealed. Did we already talk about this?
No, we didn't talk about it. We talked about how it's his next project. So this is kind of following
Okay,
up
so
on
the
that.
title is Alien: Paradise Lost, as you already know. So why did I do that?
Yeah, it is a little. It came out a couple days ago, but it's kind of it's still relevant.
Yeah.
Because it's really weird because he was he was saying this is a new series. Prometheus has very little, if anything, to do with Alien, and now he's saying,
Well, it is Alien.
yeah, actually the movie's called Alien.
Three
There's
movies from now, it will be Alien, but it's its own universe. No. It's in the universe, but it's its own story. Okay, but it's
Ridley, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Just saw The Martian last night. That was really good.
Yeah, stay tuned for our non-spoiler review. He's going to hopefully shoot this weekend, and then we will be back next week with a spoiler review for The Martian after I see it on Discount Tuesday.
And Sicario, hopefully.
And Sicario, we're going to do hopefully lots of videos. I want to see The Walk as well. Lots of great videos coming out, or movies coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that's another interesting one. What's next? He's still talking about Prometheus 2.
Right.
And,
so Prometheus 2. Well, you haven't seen Prometheus, so we can't talk.
Isn't he
this.
saying though?
We talk about this. Can't talk about.
Well, it's going to be tying back into Ripley. I think he even said, right? Eventually, like they're going to reference the Sigourney Weaver character in the Alien, or not in Alien, but in Prometheus, the sequel. So that'll be a little weird because how many years? Do you know how many years Prometheus is set before the events of Alien?
No.
No, but it's supposed to be like a long amount of time, isn't it? So how do you feel about this news that Sigourney Weaver might be in some way connected to, or maybe not connected, but her character might be referenced in the new Alien: Paradise Lost?
It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not sure exactly how. Wait, you said Prometheus? It's going to be in the.
It's going to be in the sequel to Prometheus, Alien: Paradise Lost. Ridley Scott said that it has connections to Ripley, but not quite as much as Alien 5. Because he specified, hey, I'm doing Alien Paradise Lost, and that's my Prometheus sequel, but Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 is still happening, and that's going to have a lot more connections with Ripley, but mine does as well. So
are these... Is Alien taking place at the same time as Prometheus 2? Or are they just going to be like...
That's a good question. I don't know the
foreshadowing the events of Alien, or...
Maybe.
It'd be kind of confused.
It'd be kind of cool. It is a little confusing, but it'd be kind of cool, like maybe if at the end of the Prometheus sequel, Alien: Paradise Lost, if they had a younger, Ripley or something, or just that could be a connection, and then something just similar, like we see baby Luke and Leia at the end of episode 3, with that terrible actor Hayden Christensen. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's a toss-up. It's kind of weird, but anyways, what do we have next on the agenda for today?
Next we have. Okay, so Furious
8 and the future. Oh yeah, this is a funny one. Vin Diesel.
Okay. So Vin Diesel wants to make 3 more Fast and Furious movies after the massive, critical success of every other Fast and Furious movie ever. 7 of them. There's been 7.
There's 7 of them.
He wants to make 3 more. That will be like one of the longest movie series of all time.
He says he wants to make. I promised them one last trilogy to put this baby to rest. It's like I only have 3 more films to do. Like,
I was shocked when I heard this because Fast 7. I was like, okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good closing, I guess. It makes. I'm not saying it's like a great movie, but for that movie series, it seemed like a nice ending, I guess. Did you ever watch it?
Furious 7? No, I saw Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and then I saw Fast 5. And Fast 5 I quite liked, but I never got around to seeing the other ones, no. But I just think this news that he thinks, one last trilogy is a little ridiculous. And but here's an interesting tidbit, though. Justin Lin, he came on and directed, 3, 4, 5, 6. and he left, and then James Wan did Furious 7, and now James Wan is not going to return for Furious 8. So Vin Diesel actually is kind of saying, hey, we could get the director of the first film to come back and do this Furious 8 and kind of, take it back to its core, what this series is all about, which is racing. So how do you feel about that news that, firstly, the original director of the first Fast and Furious movie might come back, and then B, it might actually go back to being about racing? Surprise you or not?
It doesn't surprise me that they would want to do that, but it makes no sense in this story that they've created with the characters. Why would they?
It doesn't really fit with the whole law of diminishing returns. You go bigger, you go bigger, you go bigger, and that's what they've been doing so far, jumping out of planes and whatnot in the most recent one. But now it's like they want to go smaller, which in a way I could see how that would be on paper a good idea, because they can't keep, they can't go too big, because then you just kind of lose all sense of reality, which I think they were teetering on based on what I heard about the Furious 7. But at the same time, you've kind of built up a reputation with the audience of what they expect. And if you take it too small, then they might kind of feel like they've been bait and switched a little bit,
Right.
Do you kind of feel like that? Yeah. And I don't really know what the first director of the first movie was like at all, so I don't really have a...
It was kind of like Tokyo Drift. I mean, to that similar style. There's racing, and then there's like drama in between. So I feel like they already kind of did that with Tokyo Drift, and they were doing a whole other crime heist thriller thing from the fourth one to the seventh one, and like that was a good like trilogy on its own. And they brought back people from the other earlier movies.
Yeah.
And then they ended it.
Yeah, it really, I mean, even everyone I feel like that hasn't seen the Furious 7, they know how it ends because it's all on Facebook and everything, the whole,
Right.
Him going the other way. So, like, just that shot, I don't know the context of it, but it looks like just a great way to end the series, They've been with each other from point A all the way through point 7, and, but I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. What is next?
So The Revenant
Oh
is
my
looking to be the best picture of the year.
This is the part you've been waiting for, guys.
Right.
The Revenant trailer. I'll let you start because I know you were really excited about this.
Extremely excited.
So, what did you like about the trailer?
Wow. What's there not to like? I really, I'm really taking a notice at obviously, like the visuals, the way Alejandro Iñárritu likes to direct and film. It's kind of similar to Birdman. In the way that it lets you, it almost feels like you're there, like it's a POV.
That's
and
so
you're like,
true.
You're looking around and you're seeing all this going on and you're like freaking out, because normally there'd be like panoramic shots, right, from above, something steady, and he's putting you there, and it's not like shaky, but it's like just
it's
the
immersive.
slightest bit to where you feel immersed, and you're seeing this. Oh my gosh, and I love the music and the sound editing on these trailers. You can already tell that this is going to win. It's going to win something.
Oh, it's going to be nominated for Best Picture,
Yeah, for
probably
sure.
at the very least. And it's really premature to say this about a movie, in theory, but
Right. Yeah.
if we're going to gush about a trailer, oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say this trailer was fantastic. I loved every single second of this trailer. As soon as it starts, yeah. And then I love it. Does this thing. I was watching a Nostalgia Critic video, and he's going over some of the best trailers of all time. And the ones that he points out are the ones that have this, like, there's one with like a train, and it sounds like it's coming closer. And they kind of employed that element of this with the breathing. You don't really notice it at first, but then it becomes the whole beat of the. And
that's my favorite aspect of the trailer.
It's so weird breathing. Whenever I watch the trailer, and the rest of the day I'm like sitting there going.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that a cool beat that I'm getting excited
intense.
to? I love it.
It gets you all riled up. You're like, oh my gosh.
Speaking of scenes that get you riled up, that scene where it's just Tom Hardy's voiceover, and he's like, we had a proper burial, and it shows him he's crawling out of the grave. It's like, oh my gosh. If Leo does not get nominated for this film, I'm saying it, he's going to get something. He's got to get some sort of recognition for this film because it looks fantastic, and it might even if it's not. The Academy has a history of doing this. They give you kind of a legacy award. It's like after a while, after you build up your resume, they're kind of like, okay, you can get
Yeah.
you can have it. So I'm hoping that's what happens with Leo this year, or this coming Academy Awards season. And yeah, the Revenant looks fantastic. Two things that pointed out, and I don't know if you noticed, is you kind of talked about the panoramic. There's this one scene, I think they're on a boat or something, and it turns and it reveals this whole village. It's like on fire.
Yeah.
And it's just great. And it kind of, and I was wondering why. I'm glad you pointed that out with the immersive feeling that it gives you, because I was really wondering, this feels like Birdman, but why does it feel like Birdman? It's not Birdman. It's not the same. Yeah. But
Alejandro has a way with the cameras.
It's that aspect of it, the way that he's such a skilled filmmaker that he can make you feel like you're experiencing this with the characters, and that's something that I'm a little scared for, because like, you know, he's about to get mauled by a bear, which that was my second thing, that scene where he's like turns around and the bear's coming. It's like so, like it caught me off guard. You know, it's like you watch it and it's like, okay, this is cool. What's happening? It's really kind of, you know, oh my, what? Wait, oh, and then he's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Hugh Glass mauled by a bear. Okay, yeah, this is a story based on real life, something that happened, and I don't think the first trailer pointed that out, but the second one did for sure. They
made it very obvious,
based
very
on
clear.
actual events, and yeah, this actually happened. But I think they're pulling some minor changes.
Hopefully,
yeah, to make it to make it more intense and cinematic. And this guy, it's a story about his trek across. I'm not sure where exactly. He was up northwest, and he's trying to find Tom Hardy. He's basically like, "Yo, Tom, why'd you leave me? I'm gonna beat you up." And it's DiCaprio versus Hardy, Inception Bowl, 2015.
Inception Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just fantastic for that reasoning alone. You put those three names in you just say them to me. Hey Sam, have you ever heard of this movie called The Revenant? No, what's it about? Don't mind that. It's got directed by Alejandro Inarritu, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, opposite Tom Hardy. Are you interested? Hell yeah, I'm interested. That's so cool. I can't wait.
There you go.
Birdman was my favorite film of 2014. I think it was a little underrated, but won Best Picture. I think it was a lot of other people's.
It completely deserved it.
Oh, it completely deserved it. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was great, and I don't think this happens too often. Like, I'm calling it. He's gonna get Best Picture nom, and you know, Birdman just won last year, and this is. There's a huge probability that he could possibly win again.
And so yeah, and that's another thing with the Academy. They remember what you've done in the So I mean, they've got Inarritu in the back of their head already. So they're. Did he win Best Director last year for Birdman as well? I think he did. And so they're probably because I know it won Best Picture and I know it won Best. Yeah, I think it won Best Director because they announced that first, and then he like saved his award because I was like, come on, why that was a really weak speech, and then he had that great speech at the end of the Oscars.
Yeah.
But a little bit of a tangent, but keep your eye out for it. The Revenant. When does it come out? Like this Christmas, right?
Yep.
Christmas. Oh, I can't wait. January. Just let me tell you, this show is going to be packed come January. Star Wars, Hateful Eight, Revenant. Gosh.
Okay. December 25th. Can't get here soon enough.
But what do we have?
Oh, I was just going to point out, Alejandro, he has. You can just tell he has like so much care for like every aspect of the movie. He obviously cares a lot for the visuals, and the sound editing and mixing is phenomenal. And you notice this on Birdman. It's the way you just watch it and you feel the audio, the way it pans around, the drums, change as he's moving, and you're like, holy crap, this feels like real life. It's great. And I feel like he's doing the same thing on The Revenant. But since it's like a terrifying concept, it's going to be that much more intense. Yeah, thrilling.
And it's so cool that he could have stuck to something indie art. Well, this is indie and artsy, but in the same vein as Birdman, he could have stuck to something about very small story that doesn't have any set pieces or action or anything like that, and it probably would be great. And I'd be just as excited, maybe not just as excited for it, but I'd be very excited for it. No matter what his next project is. But the fact that he's changing it up so much, going from a movie about actors and popularity versus prestige and etc. Now he's going into man versus nature and all these different aspects of it, and he's going from a not true story, kind of true because it's based on loosely interpreted based on Michael Keaton's life, but this is a hard biography, and I think you said they'll probably make it more cinematic and tweak some things, and I kind of hope so, because going back to Black Mass.
Right.
You know, we talked about how it kind of, there's some scenes where they just kind of had to like obligatory follow through with what's true instead of you know what they maybe would like to do. But a cool thing is this next movie that we're talking about did not have to base itself off of a true story, did not have to follow the hard facts, and I actually have seen it now. So what is next, Ricky?
Next up, we got The Departed on our Something Old, Something New segment.
The Departed, directed by Martin Scorsese, and I have seen 2 of his films now, this and Wolf of Wall Street. I'll let you start. You like it?
Yes. I love The Departed. I love virtually every aspect of it. The acting is incredible. The dialogue is incredible. It's the chemistry between all the characters, you know, especially Nicholson and DiCaprio. And I'm just pointing this out there, all right? DiCaprio, I think, is the defining actor of our generation. You know, he's been in so many movies, and he's always, you know, he started out as kind of like this teen heartthrob, and he like made it a point to break out of that and to show us that he has so much potential.
Yeah, he's not just, you know, a little Taylor Lautner kind of esque person where he just, you know, looks hot and then can't act to save his life. This kid, you know, he may, you know, be the teen heartthrob but even in those movies, he's bringing it. Yeah, and I completely agree. You know, especially in our generation alone, because you know when we were born before Titanic even came out. So watching him go from Titanic to
The
Revenant now, and you know the Departed in the middle.
Yeah.
It's
and then there was Inception up there too. I think
Inception was for me. That was whenever I really started taking note of. Because you know I was like 15 in 2010, so that's whenever you know I was finally starting to be like, hey, this guy he's where it's at. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's an actor.
Right.
And so and another thing that I really like about The Departed and is Jack Nicholson's character.
Right.
He is. It's weird because he's loosely based on Whitey Bulger, but I feel like he's not at all like the portrayal of Whitey Bulger we saw.
It's Jack Nicholson
playing
Jack Nicholson.
But in a way that we haven't seen. Okay, I guess that was kind of. I was about to say. He's being flamboyant and goofy, and he's never done anything like that before, especially not in Batman 1989. But he did. So, but this is a different character. He's a not true to life, but he's a true mafia man. He's a crime boss, and he's flamboyant, and he's got his purple or not purple, but he's got his like pink polo shirt, and he's got his leopard print tie, and it's just I want that tie. It's fantastic, and I think he's even wearing the tie in that picture. That's funny. And then we talked about in our Black Mass spoiler review, which is really funny and ironic now that I've seen The Departed. We were talking, hey, they can't really change facts, so I mean, it would have been cool if they would have had a shootout at the end, and Whitey Bulger died in the shootout. Bam. Spoiler alert. That happens in The Departed, and I love the way it happened too. The way that
Matt Damon,
not Mark Wahlberg. Matt Damon killed him, and
about to segue into The Martian. Hold on. No, I'm just kidding. Matt Damon, good job.
Yeah, keep your eye on this channel for our Martian review. Yeah, but I really enjoyed The Departed.
Right.
I'm looking at the tomato meter right now, and it looks like it's got a 91% in Rotten Tomatoes. I wouldn't go that far, but I would just give it an 8.5. So that's not to say like, oh, it's not worth it. You know, it's like a 6-point difference. So come on, what would you give The Departed out of 10? 10? 9.5?
Probably 9.5. If not a 10, a 9.5. It's I grew up with this movie. I love it so much, and it's so highly quotable too. Like everything that you hear is like, well, especially from Nicholson's character, it's like, wow, that really resonates with me. Like at the beginning of the movie, he had this, whole speech, and he ended it with, you grow up and you're either gonna be a cop or in the mafia, right? And then he says, when there's a loaded gun at you, what's the difference? Love it.
That's great, and that's there's something that that he was able to articulate that I didn't quite get the feeling from Whitey Bulger and Black Mass. And I'm sorry that I keep comparing it to Black Mass, but that was just the comparisons are very real. So, but the thing is, I never quite kind of got the Whitey Bulger was intimidating and he was very scary and everything, all that. But you never got the idea that hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's a smart dude underneath that cold exterior, and you get that with Jack Nicholson. You're like, wow, he's making he's kind of pretty street smart, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah, it was fantastic. And as far as the rest of the cast, Leo DiCaprio did great.
Mark Wahlberg killing it.
Mark Wahlberg killing it.
The whole movie. He killed the whole movie. There was not an X anywhere near him in any frame because he didn't die.
That's so funny. Mark Wahlberg killing it.
He likes my jokes.
Something new.
Mark Wahlberg's character, yes. Hold on. Mark Wahlberg's character in The Departed is one of the best things I've ever seen on film. He's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he's an asshole.
He's an asshole, and I don't quite get why. Until
do you have anyone in Frank's gang? Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself. Remember that?
Yes.
No, you were asleep. Okay, Attack on Titan.
It's on my phone. Anyways, Attack on Titan. I haven't seen it, but Ricky has. So
unfortunately, I watched it.
First of all, before we
what is Attack on Titan?
Yeah, what is it about?
Okay.
Give us a little background.
Right.
It's based on a television show.
Yeah. Okay. It's an anime based on a manga, Japanese manga, and the story is that it's in the future. You know, it's very it starts off kind of a cliche story. He's explaining that humanity somehow tore itself apart, and there were bombs. Blah blah blah. Technology's terrible, and we all live basically kind of like hunters and gatherers, except out of nowhere came these colossal titans, which we had to protect ourselves from, you know, because they started eating everyone, killing people. So we built like huge walls within walls to defend ourselves from the titans, and it's been like over 100 years, I think, since titans attacked, and the people start to doubt their existence. But then out of nowhere, huge one comes out, breaks down the wall, they invade, chaos ensues. And which, you know, that's how the first episode of the anime starts. And you're like, holy crap, this is intense and it's real. And it's not one of those animes where it's all like cute and bubblegum, you know, it's a very intense thing. And that's what I think attracted a lot of people and what made it so popular. So to see that be torn apart by a film adaptation, you know, with all those freaking adaptation tropes where they put in stupid plot lines and filler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they just have to. Yeah.
And just everything about this was pretty bad. Like
About the film?
About the film. The anime is amazing. If you like, oh my gosh, if you like anything, watch it.
Of course, the anime is animated, but is the film live action anime itself, or
it's
a mixture maybe?
No, it's not. It's not. They try to make it a mixture, but you can really tell it's hilarious.
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, I was laughing the first time the Titans came on the screen because it's so obviously like they just had normal actors in a green screen. They're running around picking people up, and when they pick someone up, it's so awkward because they're kind of like standing there, and it's like jumpy, and they're eating them, and you're like, whoa, there's a lot of blood. But I feel like they're just like trying to compensate with gore, and it comes off really unappealing, and it's kind of nasty because it doesn't.
It's not like serve is it just kind of gratuitous for the sake of being?
Yeah, exactly. Like the anime was like that, but you know it all felt very like linear, like it was all
Seamless.
One style of thing, yeah, seamless, and you're like, yeah, obviously that would happen. Then in the movie, you just kind of confused because it feels like a very awkward set. Like two sets like merged into one frame, and then that's happening, and you're like, where is all this blood coming from? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's bad.
How is the let's talk about one of the most important things of any film, the script. How is the script, the dialogue, the characters? Are they one-off? Are they did? Okay, so now I haven't seen the anime or the film, so they have the anime and they have the characters that are in the anime.
Right.
Do they adapt the characters from the anime and have live-action people playing them? And are they true to that, or?
Yeah, well, they have live actors obviously playing these characters. The characters, they kind of based on certain characteristics that these characters have, but I feel like they just go off and kind of, you know, they overblow little things like the main character is like kind of hot-headed, but you know he's still like a normal person in the show, but and then in the movie he's just pissed all the time and screaming all the time, and I'm like, dude, calm down. this is not you. Like, and like the script, as far as writing goes, it's fine. The writing's fine, but the way it's delivered is so like cheesy and
Oh,
terrible.
the acting's bad too.
Yeah, the acting.
Yeah.
Like, there's maybe one or two good scenes that are like maybe redeemable, and there's like some action that's decent. Like, there's this one scene where Aaron, the main character, he knees someone in the head, and I'm like, wow, that was the highlight of the whole movie. He knees someone in the head because he went to kick him, and then the guy grabbed him, and then he just went bam, and that's it. I was like, okay,
That
cool.
actually sounds pretty slick, but that was
Yeah.
like just the one thing
Yeah,
that
that
was
was the one
actually
thing.
like redeemable.
And then
Wow.
they massacred the characters as usual and put in stupid connections and stories, and changed some things, and it's like, I don't know if you're gonna watch it, don't watch it, but they messed up Mikasa, and they like made her like die, and then they brought her back, and all of a sudden she's the, hard ass Titan killer, which she was supposed to work towards to, but she just went out of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like going from point A to point C with no
Yeah,
point B.
yeah, and then they made Eren feel responsible for her death, and it was like that didn't happen at all. So I don't know. Like, I don't mind minor changes, but like if you're gonna change something big, like make it work. And then they just made it really creepy, especially with her relationship with Levi, with this older dude, and it was like, what? No. Okay. So Attack on Titan, 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10?
1
really?
out of 10.
1 out of 10.
Okay, I'll give it a 2 for that knee kick, but that's it. Like, it was bad. The anime, however, is a 9. So watch the anime.
Okay. Last thing on the agenda today is we actually have a YouTube question. Peyton Grufik left us a comment on one of our previous videos, and he asked a question. And if you have any questions, please tweet them using the hashtag AskFilmFanclub. We look at it all the time, and so far we only have one. So, anyways, Peyton Grufik, he said, is Christian Bale one of the greats? You go ahead and start off, Ricky. What do you think?
I'm going to say yes. I really love Christian Bale for, and not just his really big, well, okay, obviously now, since he's gotten so big, a lot of his movies are going to be seen no matter what he's in.
Yeah.
But, his older movies, American Psycho, The Machinist, even as a teenager in Empire of the Sun, he was, you saw this
I forgot about
tenacity.
Empire
Yeah.
of the Sun. That
You
was-
saw this tenacity, this potential, and you were like, wow, this kid's going to go somewhere.
Kind of like a Leonardo DiCaprio
Exactly.
as a young
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, in comparison to DiCaprio, Bale has this natural intensity about him, and the seriousness, this grittiness.
He does.
Yeah, and he's a really great leading actor.
Mhm.
To a certain extent, he's not as how do I say
Not
this?
as great as Nicolas Cage.
Oh my gosh, no. See, I feel like DiCaprio has more of a range that comes naturally to him. Like Christian Bale can do those ranges of like happiness and wittiness, charm, but that's just not what we know him for.
That's true.
And it doesn't come as naturally to him as DiCaprio, who has an impeccable charm.
He really fits the whole brooding persona of
Exactly.
like Batman or something like
Yeah.
that, which obviously he was perfectly cast in.
He was also, I really like his work in The Prestige. I feel it shows a lot more a character to him.
Another Christopher Nolan film, one I have not seen.
Exactly. He, Bale. Whenever you see his name, attached to a movie, this is going to be a big one. This is important. Like even if it's something like that no one sees, you're like, Bale was in it.
Bale was
It's
in it.
probably really good.
Mhm.
What was that one movie called?
American Hustle.
Oh, he was great in that.
I didn't see that, but
Yeah.
the buzz surrounding it was is fantastic, and Bale especially was
Exactly.
very great. And
There's this movie, Out of the Furnace. I haven't seen Out of the Furnace, but I hear that it's really depressing, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a Christian Bale movie, and I'm sure it's really good. But yeah, my brother watched it, and he's like, wow,
wow,
and I'm like, yeah, I understand.
wow.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think Christian Bale. Now I haven't seen Christian Bale in as many films as you have, but what I have seen him in the Dark Knight trilogy, American Psycho, other film, The Fighter, more films that I can't think of right now. Wasn't there a third one or another one? But I don't know. I think he is now. Whenever you say greats, that is kind of like Al Pacino,
Right. Nicholson, De
Niro, kind of.
DiCaprio.
It's weird, and I would say that Leonardo DiCaprio has become one of the greats, and I think Christian Bale won at least Best Supporting Actor for The Fighter, which is BS, by the way, because it should have gone to Andrew Garfield for The Social Network that year. But Bale has the Oscar. Leo doesn't have an Oscar. It's kind of weird because I think Leo is one of the greats, and Bale, he's on his way to becoming one of the greats. I think if he died today, I would firstly say rest in peace, but I don't think that he would be remembered as one of the greats of all time. I think that he is definitely one of the top 5 people working today, as far as current actors that are working today.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he is one of the top 5 of all time.
Yeah, I think if anything, what he'll always be remembered for is his work with Christopher Nolan in the Dark Knight trilogy, and that in itself is just one of the best things to happen to cinema.
That's true.
It's true. It's a landmark. It's hugely important especially for the superhero genre. You know, redefining the whole grounded reality and grittiness.
A lot of
everything.
People think Avengers is the best superhero film of all time, but I think it's The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is the best comic book film of all time.
All time.
And you know, hey,
and right under it is Watchmen.
We haven't seen Batman vs Superman yet, but it probably won't replace it. It's just The Dark Knight was just such a fantastic film, and this is going on a tangent, but it just kind of really shows Christian Bale's great acting talent once again. So I think in like 10 years, 5 years even maybe, after his next few films have come out, I think we're going to be looking back at Christian Bale's career and probably saying that he's one of the greats. But as of right now, if he died today, I don't know. I think
watch more of his movies.
Yeah, I do need to watch more of his movies. But man, that just really made me mad about The Fighter because Andrew Garfield brought it in The Social Network. He was a fantastic supporting actor.
So was Bale.
Was not a supporting actor in The Fighter. He was one of the 2 leads, but you know, the Academy's weird sometimes. They were trying to get Andy Serkis nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, even though Caesar was the lead. So it's just one of those situations where it's like their red tape is all over the place, and you have to get through that to get what. It's silly. Bureaucracy and whatnot. So anyways, I think that'll do it for this show, unless we have anything else. So I'm Sam Carrico. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Vimeo, just at Samuel D. Carrico. Where can people find you, Ricky?
I'm Ricky Sacedo. You can find me on Twitter at Rickety_Rockety. Always have trouble. Instagram at Rick Sacedo. So,
and we do lots of. I think you're going to be doing a Black Mass non-spoiler review, or no, not Black Mass. Excuse me.
The Martian.
The Martian non-spoiler review this weekend, hopefully. So keep your eyes open for that. And next week we are going to be doing a review of
The Martian.
The Martian spoiler review after I see it, and then we want to do
Sicario, hopefully.
Yeah, we want to do Sicario. We want to do The Walk. There's a lot of great movies coming out. October is officially the beginning of Oscar season, I think.
So did you watch The Green Inferno? What did you think?
Comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, please click subscribe.
Watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Join us next time.
Yeah. All right. Farewell.
So long. Farewell. All fighters, and see you next week.